All right. Morning or evening, everybody.
Morning,
depending
folks.
on where you are.
Afternoon if you're back in the homeland.
Yep. Let us know if the stream quality is okay. Got some guys on live already. Hope everyone's doing good. Nice bright sunny day today in Toronto.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. September's been incredible. 30 degrees here yesterday. Did you play?
Ridiculous. Yesterday, no, I hit a few balls, went for a lesson with Larry.
Oh boy. Nice.
Played Saturday.
Clean up?
Yeah, we did some good stuff yesterday. It was a full bag cleanup.
Was it really?
Top to bottom.
Oh man.
Did some putting, did some chipping, did some full swing, did some pitching.
One last push. Get down to that.
I don't know if I'm
scratch by the end of the year.
It's 1.5. I had a decent round on Friday. It was 2 over, so it's 1.5 handicap now.
Wow.
It was good. Happy with that. But
very good.
Well, what do we got? Another month and a half of golf? I might be able to do it.
If you're hardcore.
The thing is, with the way Canadian handicap, well, North American handicap system works, if I shoot one really good round, like let's say I shoot 2 under, it'll go down to scratch.
Will it really? It'll adjust 100%. That quickly?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
Back in the UK, they do it completely differently.
Yeah, I'd have to have, if like let's say I had 30 scores of 90 in there, and then all of a sudden I shot 2 under. In that case, no. But because I'm kind of hovering, it would 100% go.
Let's get Matty to scratch by the end of the year. Well, I think
just go out somewhere and play the red tees.
Absolutely. I'll sign it for you, pal. Don't you worry.
Approved.
We were chatting with Sammy Moses, weren't we, the other day?
And I played with him last week.
Right.
Played pretty well.
And we're talking about getting him back in for a little just a little recap in his season. How's the handicap been? We need to, we do that as part of our process here anyway. I wouldn't mind seeing how his clubs are performing, making sure there's, we can, can't get anything more out of the loft and lies.
I won't spoil it, but playing 5 times with him this year, the irons are so good.
Really?
Yeah, so
big difference. Good.
I mean, I played with him for years, and I've never seen him hit some of the shots he's hit with his irons.
Yeah.
Wedges too.
Yeah, so it'd definitely be good to get Sammy and a couple of the guys we done some live fits with. I was talking with Rob Kennedy the other day.
Oh, good. Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a bit.
So he says he's playing well and says he's hitting the ball really good. So it'd be good to touch base with the guys.
Yeah, we should check in with Rob.
Sam, who else?
Well, you did a little driver fit for intern Sam, but he's back at school, so he's not playing golf.
Sammy, he's in Switzerland living the life. He's at school.
He won't be playing golf, so we won't have any update from him.
No.
So let's talk about what we got going on. It is less than 2 months from little Orlando trip.
Yeah, pretty much just under the 2 months. So we're going to go down for our very first TXG session. So we've been really excited about that, and
absolutely
starting to build the kind of the program for the workshop. And we had a really cool announcement last week that all participants are going to get a free Accra driver shaft. Which is or actually, someone's requested a 3-wood.
People are asking for it.
So that's going to add a bunch to it. And the biggest feedback we got from you guys was that you'd quite like to be fitted while you were down there. And obviously, having a group of 16 per day, it's going to be hard to do, full fits. But we thought, we can definitely get some information prior to going down from you guys about your game. Do a driver fit, give you an idea of the right, weight, length, flex, bend profile that would really suit your game, and we want to give you that shaft to take away.
The fitting component was something that I think people wanted to see, which was great feedback.
Yeah.
So the idea to get not only to get a fitting component where everyone's gonna, we're gonna look at the driver or 3-wood specifically, but also that you get to take something home with you. You've got a brand new shaft. I know I'm getting hammered for the shirt right now.
That's exactly what I said. Where's Matt?
He's blending in. I did wear this shirt on purpose, if anyone's wondering. I know I'm going to get slammed by half, and the other one are going to like it.
Well, we're just debating whether it's camo or cow.
Yeah. Is this a cow print, or is this a camo print, or is it both? Get your votes.
Camouflage cow.
Camouflage cow. Get your votes in. Oh, we're really getting off.
Oh, Jesus.
Off topic.
Need more tea.
Cheers. Back to Orlando. So November 10th and 11th.
Yep.
We do have a few spots for both. Not a ton. So if you are thinking about coming, get on that.
Right.
I'll put the link in here for everybody. Let's go quickly through what we're doing in case people don't know at all. So it's going to be we're doing 2 days identical, so you just sign up for one.
Yeah.
We're down in Orlando at Eagle Creek, which is about 15 minutes from the airport. It's really close.
Yeah, very close to the airport, right, and very close to Lake Nona Golf Club, which people will be kind of familiar with. with that. Yeah.
So we'll be there for full days in both occasions. So 8 a.m. to 2 is the seminar portion. So we'll be on the range doing some demos with GC Quad, talking about a bunch of different stuff. We have some cool stuff lined up. Basically stuff that we haven't done in the studio because it's more outdoor focused. So we'll get to kind of chat with everyone about some cool little things with that. And then the latter half of the day is when we're going to fit all the participants for their Accra shaft. So everyone's going home with their own. It's like $300 that shaft, an FX shaft.
I mean, they vary in price. The 300 series is retails at $350.
Right. So it's
really
it's
top,
a good little deal.
top shaft. You know, Japanese made, really excellent technology. The FX line. So you guys have probably heard me say this, but I'll explain it again. So there's 3 different models available: the 100 series, 200, and 300 series. 100 being the most tip soft, the 300 being the most tip stable, the 200 being somewhere in between. So you know, there's a little something in there for everyone. They go from 40 grams all the way up to 80 grams.
Oh wow! Yeah. So no matter, I mean, whoever shows up, we're going to find something for them.
Absolutely. I think it'll be. I mean, unless you're turning up with something that's really dialed in for you, this is going to be an upgrade for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll have GC Quad for that. Obviously, you'll get to hit. Everyone's going to hit some shots on there and see their data. We're going to watch. I mean, it'd be cool to just physically watch the ball flights too, get feedback about what kind of misses people have on the golf course, and then recommend a shaft based on that, and then take it home, get it installed in wherever you are. We'll be able to recommend locations to go get your clubs built based on where you are.
The great thing with this is we're now starting to get sort of other companies coming to us now and going, I love the idea of this TXG sessions. Can we partner with you guys? Can we give something to the participants?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a few other companies have came forward and
it's news to me too.
Going, okay, can we be the sort of sponsor of the next one?
Yes.
And provide you guys with a specific club. I won't ruin it or drop anything.
Save that for next one.
But you know, this is going to seem to be a feature of the TXG sessions. Will be, you know, something that we can promote and focus on, and obviously give you guys the benefit of taking one home as part of being a participant.
Awesome.
Very cool.
If anyone's in Florida or near Florida and you're on the live stream and you're interested in coming, this would be a great time for you to ask whatever you want to ask us. Type it in and let us know. I hope I haven't missed any while I've been talking, but if there's anything that's kind of leaving you on the edge of coming, we do have a few spots left, so we'd obviously love to have you, so let us know.
Yes, it's something for everyone. I mean, we've got, you know, subscribers to the channel. I've got the head teaching pro from Bay Hill coming. You know, there's a bunch of our contacts are coming along. So, you know, this is going to be something that everyone can take something away from, whether you're just a sort of enthusiast about golf equipment and you want to come and pick our brain and kind of, you know, go through the kind of process of testing and Q&A and stuff. Or, you know, you want to use it as an educational part where you can take something back to your club, and, you know, if there's any, you know, assistant pros watching or something like that where they want to do a better job at their club and, you know, come and you know, talk to us about how to do that. We do, you know, consulting in that form. So, you know, we would love to see people of all, you know, all job descriptions.
It's important to say, I mean, we're going to be there for a full day. There's just a ton of time, I think, just to ask all those questions that you want to ask. We're going out for 9 holes after, which is included. We're having lunch together during the thing, which is included. We might try to squeeze in a little dinner reservation somewhere if anyone wants to come and hang out. Definitely. Nona Blue is a favorite of yours. It's really good spot near Lake Nona.
It'd be cool to do Nona Blue. It's really close to the club, and the food is great. The atmosphere is great and stuff. There's always a few of the European or a few of the PGA Tour guys kicking around who live in the Nona community. Always, anytime you're in there, you always see, you know, Poulter or GMAC or any of the, you know, even some of the LPGA, you know, the Jitanigarn girls are living down there.
Is that where they're based?
Yeah. Yep. So it's a good spot.
Very cool. Okay, so let's get into some questions. There are a ton. So
Love it.
I'm going to go up to pre-shirt announcement. Okay, let's start with this. So, talking about shortening your driver shaft. I actually played with someone over the weekend whose driver shaft must have been 42 inches.
Wow.
Must have been.
How did they hit it?
Okay. But then again, I've never played with them with a normal length shaft, so I'm not sure.
And had he considered the implications of going that short?
No. In terms of swing weight and stuff? No.
Swing weight and shaft flex and weight and...
No.
What driver was he in?
It was an Epic, I think. Standard Epic, some kind of Fujikura shaft. It looks short to me.
Just had a hack at it.
It looks short, yeah. So I guess the question is, I think a lot of people go to that for try to hit it straighter.
Yeah,
I guess. Try to hit it more solid.
Yeah, probably had decent enough results with their fairway wood and go, okay, I'm struggling with the driver. Let me just make this driver sort of fairway wood.
Do you think that's a bad idea generally?
The reality is, I mean, the fairway woods from an efficiency standpoint, a ball speed efficiency standpoint, the fairway woods are pretty much as hot as drivers these days.
Yeah, I've noticed. My M3 hitting on the range yesterday, I think you might need to put some loft on it. Because I think they honestly, some of them that were slightly above center strikes, low spin ones, probably went about as far as my driver.
Wow.
A few of them. Really hot face on those.
I think since they launched the sort of technology in the RBZ a few years back, I think that the 3-wood DNA has completely changed and they've become so hot. So, I think there's less of a need to build a short driver when you can build a really hot little fairway wood at maybe 13 or 14 degrees, benefit from the loft, have the swing, have the head weight there, 216, 218 grams, somewhere in that range, without having to up the head weight of your driver and
that's a good point.
Making it a little more difficult. Lie angle always plays a part as well, that people forget that when you shorten your driver, you basically really flatten the driver down quite a lot.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
Yeah, people forget that the implications of the playing lie angle of the golf club when you change the length. So,
because if say you're someone that hits blocks and slices and you shorten your driver thinking
you're
now I'm
going to
hit
it straighter, and the thing goes kind of toe down, heel up, and you're
worse.
already a handle raiser potentially.
Oh, yeah,
you've got all sorts of trouble that you're not really factoring in.
That's a good point. So we just got a question about when you shorten the shaft, does it change the swing weight? Yes, it makes it lighter.
Lighter swing weight.
Okay. A few questions coming in about the TS2 and TS3. Yes, we are going to review those.
Yeah, I've been trying to get up to Titleist for the last couple of weeks. I just still busy here, still super busy, and the guys at Titleist, to be fair, are super busy. So their time when they can see me is like 7:30 in the morning or either 6:30 at night, and it's been really tough to try and get up there. I plan on trying to get up there. I've seen the TS2.
Yeah, we had one sample in the shop.
Yeah, we saw it, and I mean, it's not my favourite looking driver in the world.
If no one's seen it, it looks different than a Titleist driver.
I really think it looks different.
Very different.
One of the things that I'm really curious to get an answer for is actually thinking about it on the way in the car. The face looks like it has reduced bulge across the face horizontally.
Looks flatter.
Looks like it's way flatter. Doesn't look like it has nearly the kind of curvature across the face.
Gotcha.
And when you change the radius of the club face, obviously you're going to influence gear effect. So back to sort of twist face and what that does. When you have basically some curvature to the face, what you're basically going, okay, so this club head is going to gear. So this club head, if we hit it in the toe, is going to deflect, right? We're basically, we know the ball's going to gear inward. It's going to hook out the toe. So they create some curvature to the face to offset the start line. Yeah, so it makes sure it comes back to the target.
Right.
So it doesn't look like there's as much of that, and I'm curious to talk to someone and see what that's all about.
Maybe there's some ways to get some measurements or something like that.
Yeah. So a normal driver has. This will be an interesting one for people. A normal driver has 12 inches of kind of curvature to the face, which basically means if you take a driver, it has the same curvature as a basketball hoop.
What? Come on.
If you cut a basketball hoop at the toe and the heel of a driver, they have the same curvature. I'll put up some information on this.
That's wild.
We'll kind of put up some info. In fact, let's do a video on it.
That's a great idea.
Let's do a video.
Bulge and roll video.
Yeah.
We'll do that today.
Well, not get enough fun.
Yeah, we're really hurting for ideas today as usual. Got a question about the stability shaft video, which is good. So you mentioned, I think something that was interesting for me and other people was you mentioned the center of mass or center of gravity was closer to the heel in the putter.
Center of mass.
Center of mass. So that was, I think, a bit of a different, I guess, insight for people that generally line it up on the black line of the putter.
On the symmetrical center rather than the geometric
So
center,
I did see this question once before, and I didn't know the answer. Is it the same for a mallet putter, like a big mallet putter? Is it also slightly towards the heel based on where the shaft connects?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, okay. Almost every putter. So one of the kind of really neat things to do is just kind of, you know, so say I'm using my phone a lot this morning. So just get a golf ball and sort of, you know, tap the kind of, you know, toe of the putter, and then come towards the middle. And when you tap the putter head, see at which point the putter face stabilizes. Right. So most people will see that if they tap the middle, the toe will still flick open a little bit.
Interesting.
Then if you just kind of tap the slightly heel side, you'll start to see the head kind of goes straight back. Then go out to the heel, and you'll start to see the heel kind of tap in a little bit, and then you'll be able to get a rough idea.
Yeah, you can just test your own putter.
You pretty much can, just with a small tapping exercise, just to see exactly where the head is most stable relative to a strike.
That's a good idea. Okay, this is a good question. So Zach is coming for a full bag fitting with you in 10 days.
Looking forward to seeing you, Zach.
He is asking, sorry, question just refreshed. Hold on, Zach. So he's basically asking if he brings in his current irons, let's say that adjusting loft and line, those made sense. He's just asking, do you adjust current irons in a fitting?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would, for sure.
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, even if you buy new irons and, you know, you wanted to, you know, in the meantime, you know, play
same thing you did
your old irons at the new spec, the new recommended spec, we'd move them for it. It takes 10 minutes. It's a really easy job.
I think you can actually see in the frame over there, that's the lie machine to Ian's side. Yeah, back there.
Over here.
So the hitting bay is right there. So in the fit, you're literally making adjustments. Go back and hit them. Make more adjustments. So yes. Okay. Question about a driving iron. So higher handicap player, probably a moderate swing speed. Says he's got a number 2 driving iron, so a low loft and one and hitting quite a few slices with it. Asking if it's probably not a great idea in terms of his delivery. Maybe try something like a 5-wood with a lower center of gravity to help square the face up, maybe. So
think about it this way, guys. If we're basically saying that based on CG location, the head will rotate a little bit more if we move the CG back a little bit. If we take an iron, the depth of that head is so narrow front to back, right? Versus a wood that has a wide body. Think of maybe M4 or something like that, quite a wide or long from front to back. The further back that CG gets, the easier it is to rotate that golf club. So for a lot of people, iron can be a struggle to square the face, especially when you start to lose that loft. So always use CG as your friend in order to help the head rotate a little bit more.
Gotcha. We saw that in all our tests as well. Like the really small hybrid heads were more fade biased, like the Titleist.
I've actually had some really good results with the Gapper.
It's been good, eh?
It's been good, yeah, really good in fits, and obviously the FCT sleeve in there as well. I've been able to take it and kind of close the head a little bit for some people who are missing it to the right. So go with a slightly wider bodied Gapper high, close the head a little bit. It's really good for certain guys, and it doesn't spin an awful lot.
Gotcha.
So as we saw. So for guys who kind of get a little bit choppy at it, swing sort of down and left, apply a little more dynamic loft with a bit of a glance and blow that tend to spin it up a little bit too much. It does a really nice job of compensating there.
Awesome. So John, try the Gapper high.
Yep.
Question from Joe. So Joe's been going to the gym. Good
nice,
for you.
Joe.
His swing speed with the 7-iron is up to 91 miles an hour, which is very fast.
Very good.
So he's basically asking, I think last live stream we were talking with Joe about his driver, and he felt he was borderline for extra stiff. 71 miles an hour and a 7-iron, that's got to be extra stiff.
Yeah, if you're, I always say, Joe, it's kind of, are you visiting 71 miles an hour in the 7-iron, or are you living there?
Yes.
There's certain customers.
Average versus spikes.
Exactly.
Right?
So, if you're living there now and you basically can rock out, your bed, hit 20 warm-up shots, then hit a 7-iron, it's at 91, then you're an extra stiff.
Yep.
If it kind of takes you 15, 20 before you kind of get there with it, It's kind of like me right now with the driver speed, like that 170 ball speed that I was getting. Like, I don't live there. I just visit it, you know, from time to time. I'm capable. That's the sort of upper end of where I'm at with it. But I don't, look, I couldn't grab a driver right now and cook it up in the high 60s or low 70s.
Gotcha.
So, Joe, I would say, you know, see how your speed level's out. And if you know, obviously, if you're planning on working at it over the winter time, you know, work away at the winter time. I don't know where you're based, Joe.
He's in New Jersey, I think.
Okay, so you've kind of got a bit of an off-season. A bit of an off-season coming up. So I would say wait to test in maybe March, and then see where what your kind of fruits of your labour of kind of
don't commit to it over the winter.
Yeah, giving you over the winter.
Good idea. Okay, so Jonathan has a 905R, definitely a classic driver. Says it's got a little bit too much spin, which is understandable. He's looking at the 2016 M2. I'm assuming to reduce the spin. It's got to spin a heck of a lot less.
Yeah, great driver.
For sure, less spin, right?
For sure. Two classic drivers.
Two classics. 2016 driver is already a classic.
I know. It's a beauty, that head. It really was. So, Jonathan, what if you let me know what shaft was in? There were certain shafts that worked really well in that 905R. That was still through bore at that time.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. That came with a Diamana blue board at the time, and it was really spinny with a blue board in it, but there was a few other shaft options that actually helped it kind of spin a lot less. So let us know what shaft is in there, but yeah, definitely a 2016 M2 is going to spin way less.
Yeah, especially if you strike one low on the face of a 905, it's got to be really high spin compared to something that's new. Okay. So Ronald's chiming in. I guess Crossfield was at the Titleist Center in California, and they more or less confirmed that they did reduce the bulge a bit because it's got higher MOI.
Oh, interesting.
So that's from Titleist. That's interesting.
Yeah, it just looked odd to me. You know, it looked like they took an American football.
Yeah, it does have a football shape at the back.
And cut it in half.
Cut it in half.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Okay, weights forward in the face, Steve. Will create lower spin. So asking about something like M3, moving the weights forward, drops the spin.
Does drop.
Does it affect the launch much or not really?
It can do. Yeah, it can do, certainly.
More so the spin though?
It'll affect more of the spin. Yeah, if you move those weights all the way forward, yeah, it will fairly significantly lower the spin.
Gotcha. Okay, so the Titleist 10C blue shaft in the TS3 is supposed to be an anti-slice shaft. So probably just like a softer profile.
Anti-slice shaft. Yeah. I've heard that so many times.
But that would be the marketing behind it. So it's probably just a softer bend.
There's probably some asymmetrical design to it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you have to, by the rules of golf, you have to make a shaft equal on all sides, right? So you have to make it symmetrical. You have to, it has to match all the way around.
Yep.
But there's no testing method for basically going, is your shaft equal on all sides? Oh, so really? You can actually make a bias on one side of the shaft that makes it rotate at a different rate.
So it will slightly flex in one direction?
So it will actually, yeah.
That's crazy.
So they call it an asymmetrical shaft design. So Matrix had a shaft called the Rule, RUL, that came out in probably 2012, which was a kind of gold color.
Okay.
So it was called the Rule because it was a rule breaker. So technically it's a rule breaker. So there's a rule against the design, but there's no testing method to prove, that there's anything wrong with it.
So you just shouldn't be doing it, but you could do it, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. A few questions about PXG 0811X driver. Do you have those here?
We'll save that one for our
little stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have a PXG sort of takeover day where we literally just test PXG top to bottom, aren't we?
Yes. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the thing is, we get PXG's a bit of a rare ask in here, fairly rare, but even more a lefty PXG request is even more rare.
Do they make everything a lefty?
Yeah, for the most part.
What a company.
What a company.
I think the reason a lot of questions are getting asked about it is I think they recently extended their Heroes program to emergency services.
Nice.
So which is great. So I think it's just brought them into a wider audience. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people in the entire United States that work in emergency services. It's a ton of people, right?
So. Yeah, no, I like it a lot.
Yeah, so we will definitely be doing a ton of reviews on that stuff probably over the winter time.
Which Joe's giving us a little update.
Okay.
I was living there actually at Measure 91 during a demo day. I've done a lot.
Good. So then that's safe for you then, Joe.
Yeah, I would say, Joe, you're probably ready to up into something in X-Flex. You know, how big a fan we are of the Modus kind of line, maybe a 120 Modus X, a Project X LZ 6.5. Not something that will straight out the gates as your first go X will feel like, oh geez, this feels different, this feels boardy, this kind of feels like I'm not really loading it. So those would be two nice options, I would say. LZ and Modus that would be worth trying, Joe. Maybe you've tried them already, but quite nice to kind of ease your way into X-Flex.
So transitioning into it rather than just going, give me X7s and go too far. Okay. Someone that has 152 mile/h ball speed on the driver, what kind of launch and spin are you looking for in that window?
I mean, in an ideal world, if we're talking about distance, you would want to probably launch that about 14 degrees at 2200 spin. That's
like your max out distance?
Yeah, that'd be pretty darn close.
Okay.
So max out distance at that would be, wait 1 second, do some quick calculations. 152. So you're looking at about, on GC quad numbers, you're looking at about 100 just a shy of 105 club head speed, times that by 2.6 yards. You're looking at about a max out of about 273 yards.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So if you get 14 launch, 2200, you'll see that, and a clean strike out the middle, you'll see about 270 out that.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm just going to go back. Earlier we had some people ask some questions before we went live.
A lot of questions this morning. Good stuff. People are wide awake.
So Rob was on with us first thing.
Okay.
He's asking a good question. So, so he was getting less club head speed with a regular driver shaft and more club head speed with a stiff driver shaft. Is there any way you can lose? Now, we don't know what kind of machine he was using to measure that, so it's hard to say. But there's some difference in energy transfer if you've got too weak of a shaft. Is that possible?
Yeah. The shaft working in lead deflection can add to the acceleration of the shaft for sure. But we wouldn't see a massive spike in that.
Gotcha.
Weight will play a little part. Shaft acceleration will play a part. Things like that.
Gotcha.
But shouldn't see a massive spike, Rob. Now, I'd kind of, if you're questioning these sorts of things, I'd make sure you get on something like quad, something camera based, and get a little look at it.
So Rob was asking about his 7-iron as well. He's only getting about 4,200 RPMs on his 7-iron. So it's a little low, obviously.
Golf Town staffer said it was fine. It's not fine.
It's not fine. Nope.
I thought the general advice was club number times 7. Yeah, I mean that's kind of a bit of a. I wouldn't say that's necessarily, Rob, a rule of thumb. That kind of number times 1,000. I think the average golfer, if they follow that rule, will hit it shorter than they need to.
Right.
I don't think that's essential. I mean, if you spin your 7-iron kind of high 5,000s into the low 6,000s, you're doing just fine.
Because if you spin it at, spinning it at 4,000, he's probably hitting it 10 yards further. But that ball flight is not going to be great when you want to land it on a hard green.
Too soft. I think just the nature of the nature of today's irons, you just don't have to you don't have to hit it that short.
Yep. Well, they'll launch it higher anyway, so the stopping power is going to be a little bit too high.
Absolutely, we've seen that a lot, haven't we? That's been a really interesting thing we've seen over the last few weeks.
Yeah. Okay. This is a good question from Whisker. You see that one here?
Okay. Question about the influence of the course you play or trying to conquer have an influence on your fitting your bag. Absolutely, Whisker. That definitely. You're you may have you know, you may have preferences that you need a specific club to do a specific job. So, you know, if it fits your eye, you know, when I was working with Gary Woodland, he specifically wanted to cut the driver but draw the fairway wood.
Okay.
So, you know, if you have a preference for, you know, I have a certain shot that you have to try and play, but I need it to kind of shape right to left or left to right, absolutely, that makes total sense. You know, it might be that your greens are absolutely flat as a pancake, so you very rarely need a 60. Well, you might be better to go 52, 58 and utilise you know, a club somewhere else down the bag that'll benefit you on that course if you don't need, you know, the elevation that a 60 provides. You know, a lot of the time that 60 is a kind of get out of jail free card on a green that is raised or has slopes, and you have to try and get the ball to come in, you know, fairly soft.
That's part of your fitting process is asking where do you play?
Where do you play?
What's your course like?
Yeah.
What kind of shots do you need to hit? Because otherwise you're just fitting, I guess you're just fitting sort of a general person.
I know,
which doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Good question, Oscar.
Very good question.
As always.
This is a good question too. So aftermarket shafts, obviously we've talked about why someone might want to invest in one.
Yeah.
Someone's looking to get a little bit more of a an aftermarket shaft that's a little more reasonable in price.
Yeah.
What are some good options? Like what manufacturers?
I think the manufacturers offer quite a wide range of shafts. I had a great fit on Saturday. Mike came in the afternoon and he basically went, Ian, I've got $2,500 to spend. I want to spend them, but I don't want to go crazy custom.
Gotcha.
So no problem at all. Let's see what we've got. So you know, we do his iron fit. He ends up in Strixon 565s. We recommend Modus 105s, which is the shaft that comes in it. Fine, $980 for a set of irons. Perfect, right?
Perfect,
so he wanted to save the money. He was more concerned about saving a few bucks than he was about getting them built exactly the way we do. You know, frequency, you know, swing weight, weight sort, all that sort of stuff. Not the manufacturers don't you know, swing weight and stuff, but they don't frequency. They don't spend as much time weight sorting as we do. So then, you know, so he's got $1,500 left. So he really hits the Rogue driver very, very well. So we look through the catalogue of shafts that Callaway offer. We find one that we have on the wall. Perfect, we fit him into that one. So he's still got room in his budget. So we end up fitting him to a Ping G400 fairwood. So he's a driver fairwood, full set of irons, customised for $2,500, and that just suited his budget. But we really focused on what the manufacturers had and their lines that we also had in the wall. So it was great.
The key then, isn't
he was so happy.
Because there's important to say that there are aftermarket shafts that come as a no-charge upgrade, right? So trying to pick one of those, so you're not actually paying extra for it. If there's a good enough catalog with Callaway or whoever, Titleist, and it happens to be on that fitter's wall, you could save yourself $300 right there.
Yeah.
You still have an aftermarket shaft, you just don't necessarily have to pay the full price for it. Okay, very good. Tons of guys were asking how your super speed thing is coming.
Going very well.
Yeah.
You know, I've been focused a lot, as you know, on the technical side of my swing as well. So,
sure,
you know, as much as I've been doing the super speed stuff, when I've been doing my practice, I've not just been kind of going all out for kind of brute speed. I would say my averages went up from when we first tested it, it was about 112, 113, and then we saw a big spike, you know, that one time. But I would say I'm probably 115, 116, so I would say I've picked up 4 miles an hour speed so far.
That's good, yeah.
The irons are certainly quicker. I was hitting 6 irons the other day. Ball speed was kind of in the high 130s, or mid to high 130s, which was really quick for me. I'm normally about 130. So it's going very, very well.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, probably as of next week, I'll progress on to level 2 protocols. So it'll be interesting to see how the swing responds to that.
And those get more intense? Like, what's the difference when you do those?
Yeah, just the kind of, they involve more sort of, more movement, more timing, that sort of thing. There's some sort of step drills and stuff that go into level 2.
Right. So Rudy has just turned 55. He's asking what kind of equipment changes, specifically shafts, you might want to look into once you start to get, I guess, above a certain age.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, you know, Rudy, I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, trying to kind of, just because, you know, you've hit 55 that you have to all of a sudden, you know, conform to you know, senior shafts or softer shafts or graphite or whatever. You know, just make sure when you go and get fit, there's a, you know, a good assessment, you know, that kind of takes into consideration your lifestyle. Do you work out? You know, I try and think of clients a little bit older certainly than 55. 55 is still a young man.
Yeah, true.
You know, if you're 65 to 70, I start to think about the time period in which you have those clubs, what the sliding sort of, you know, or the sort of diminishing swing speed will perform like if I fit you into a specific set of clubs. So I kind of try and fit into a window of time with that type of player so that they, you know, they kind of will still be good in 3, 4, 5 years' time.
Gotcha. Good question about tempo and transition related to what kind of shafts you're going to pick. So I'm gonna pair this with something we haven't talked about in a while, is the gear system. So we've got gears pretty much ready to be installed in the near future.
Yeah, we've got the measurements going up. It's paid for. We're just trying to
we're just trying to get it in there. So the question about what type of player would want, you know, a certain profile shaft for a quick transition, slow transition. That's the kind of stuff that we want to really get into, I guess, with that system, because it literally measures the way the shaft is bending in real time.
Yep.
What are your general guidelines, though, before you have something like that? If someone is really quick from the top, you're generally doing what? Giving them more weight?
Generally, that type of player generally gets a little bit of a stiffer butt section. So if they're really pulling from the top, you know, we'll make sure the shaft is a little bit stiffer in the butt section. You know, generally, I mean, to generalize, but you know, if you're pulling hard from the top, you kind of retain quite a lot of angle in the downswing. So, you know, something you know, where the shaft can sort of deflect a little bit more. You know, a couple of shafts that spring to mind. Certainly Modus 130 iron shafts, you know, the most butt stiff shafts out there. So, you know, that's a shaft that kind of cheats the frequency scale. So, you know, if we clamp a Nippon Modus 130 for 5 inches in the butt section, you know, load them and oscillate them, they come out so stiff based on the butt frequency, but the shaft is actually fairly soft, way softer than the Nippon 120. So, you know, there's shafts that have characteristics based on, you know, really transition and what the player needs. So that would be one that would spring to mind.
Perfect. I was just chatting with Mike about gapper being a decent option if someone doesn't love a 3-wood or a 4-wood, because
absolutely.
You can get the 17 degree in the mid or the low, and you can hammer some of those. Like those go far.
They go a long way,
really far, and they're lower spin options. So if you don't love a 3-wood, that's not a bad idea. There are a million questions, so we appreciate that, guys. Sorry if we're not getting to yours.
Wait,
see one you like?
Yeah, just caught my eye there. Just
up. Yeah. There you go.
We've got a viewer on from India.
Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely welcome. Bought a calorie roll for 10.5. I have a problem with the launch angle. Changed it to 11.5. I changed.
So going with the draw setting to limit the fade, you have to up the loft, obviously.
Yep. I missed the question though.
Yeah, Robbie, let us know. Are you hitting it too high? I guess is probably your question.
See if there's a follow up with the question.
Yeah, let us know if you're hitting it too. Oh, okay.
But somehow not happy with the shaft. Any suggestions, please? I have a low swing speed of about 65 miles an hour. Okay, Ravi. So yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get something that's. You want to get something that has, you know, a little bit of a softer profile. That's for sure. Something that kind of, you know, creates a bit more energy for you. You know, I've seen in the past, you know, people with slower swing speeds and they're not really able to load the shaft. They start kind of throwing their body at it, and it really throws their motion. And when you start kind of throwing the body at it, your ability to hit the middle of that golf club becomes, you know, seriously compromised. Ravi, I would say really focus on your contact, you know, as much as anything else. When your swing speed is a bit slower, you have to absolutely maximize your contact in order to get the most ball speed that you can. You know, it's almost worth not trying to get to 60, you know, 8 or whatever, you know, in order to try and hit it further, just try and hit the middle a little bit more. The other thing is as well, if you're at 65 miles an hour club head speed, get yourself into doing some super speed golf stuff.
Yeah, that's a great
definitely do that. There's every player out there has another 5 to 7 miles an hour club head speed in them. Every player out there. You know, I've seen it.
You've seen it
I've seen it
firsthand,
time and time again.
Yeah.
You know, I was working with one of our winter members in here last year, Kevin, and I could see him practicing from my office, and he was swinging his driver at like 82 miles an hour, and you know, getting frustrated and stuff. I'm like, Kev, you can do better than that. I'm like, let's get that swing speed up a little bit. So we started like swinging a bit quicker. Like within 10 minutes, he was at 91 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, just trying.
Just feeling how to actually create speed.
That's it. Just the actual effort involved in it. So yeah, I think everyone has at least 5 to 7 miles an hour in them.
Good point. So Aaron was asking about not hitting his irons high enough.
Okay.
What are some things you can do to address that?
Selecting the right irons, and what maybe let us know what irons you play.
Yes.
But I think starting with the right irons is the key. You know, obviously making sure that you've got the right kind of profile of CG location being a bit lower, natural loft. So, you know, if we're talking natural loft, something like an I-210 that starts at 29 and a half rather than down at 28 or 27, like some of the modern day irons. So I think having the right combination of everything that can make a ball go higher, making sure that's part of your set.
Yeah, so a higher lofted iron that has a low center of gravity.
For sure.
Good idea. Probably not something where you look at the shaft to make a huge difference in the ball
They
flight.
really, I mean, it's going to be interesting. We've got that the new True Temper Elevate shaft coming in, and I'm really curious to see what that, you know, shows. But I asked our boys at the Burlington store, our other store, they tested it the other day, and they said they didn't see too much of a difference.
Yeah, we'll have to get into it, I guess.
Different players might see different stuff.
Aaron said he's playing XR Callaway irons. Those are strong, aren't they?
Those are super strong irons.
So that's why.
Yeah, big time. So something like, I feel like I should be on the payroll at Srixon, but something like a 565 or 585, the new ones with Srixon. You know, it's a good iron. You can weaken that one easily because it has the forged body. So get the loft up to sort of 29 or so. You know, get a shaft that's working well for you, and that'd be a good start.
Gotcha. Quite a few questions about TPT. So I've got the TPT 15. Jordan was just asking if swing speed wise I'd be better off with that. It's not been released yet.
No.
So the 15 series is, you probably would know the CPM rating or whatever. It's
275.
So it's in line with my other clubs. I don't have the stiffest CPMs on my shafts anyway, just because I'm not the most aggressive, I guess, in terms of transition.
No, you're pretty smooth in transition, aren't you? You store a lot of it. You don't load the shaft up at an absolute ton, do you?
Like swing speed wise, I probably average about 119 right now, and then I'll spike them over 120, but I'm not averaging over 120. So I guess if someone was like 123, 124, then maybe they would want to wait for the 14 series to come out. But
exactly. I mean, if you look at the guys who are playing 14 series, I guess DeChambeau, Day, Patrick Reed, you know, you're as quick as most of those boys. I mean, Jason Day might be you know, a little bit quicker than you are, but he always plays shafts that are are super stiff because he's always trying to kind of manage his peak height. He hits it so high. So I mean, playing X7s in his irons and that sort of thing, he's just trying to manage the apex of his flight.
Good point. We've got a few people asking, because Bryson's won a couple tournaments, are you gonna start all of a sudden liking single length irons?
No,
probably not. But we do want to do some.
Some
testing.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it yesterday on my list, and we're definitely going to test single length extensively on the channel, just to show you guys what it's all about.
Yep.
I'm sure there are benefits for someone out there. I don't think it's something for the masses, that's for sure, but I'm absolutely sure there's someone out there that type of technology is interested. I mean, there's one length, and then Adele have you know, a single length setup. So I'm curious to try their stuff.
So needless to say, it's just a niche product. It's probably not.
It's not for
It's
everyone.
not like I'm not hitting it good. Let me change on my irons to single length and see what happens, kind of thing.
I think most people would have a hard time with such a long pitch and wedge and
It'd
such
be weird,
a short
right?
forearm.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you need a season to adjust, or at least half a season.
Crazy.
Probably,
I tried. It felt bizarre.
Yeah, it must. So Blue Lizard's asking about frequency matching. We did a little build shop video for Patreon. I'm gonna guess straight line means all the CPMs in your set are the same, all the shafts?
Yeah, so we match up. We use sort of progressive frequency.
So it's called
matching.
progressive.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so it's on a scale sort of that way. So we plan on doing a video on this, don't we? A series of videos from the build shop.
Yeah.
So we built Matty's stuff to 7.0 across the board. We were very fortunate that the Nippon irons that you got were like 6.9 or something
So
like that, and so consistent across the board. And if they weren't, to be honest, that's where the kind of hand picking of the irons comes into it, because we're very fortunate to have 7 or 8 pitch and wedge shafts, 7 or 8 9-iron shafts, 7 or 8, so we can go in and go, okay, test that one for weight, test it for frequency. How is that one? Okay, it doesn't conform because they're taper. So it's not like that we can do anything about it anyway.
Right.
So if it was too soft, it's it's too bad. You got to take it in the chin that you've got a set of shafts that don't quite. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. He's got a couple good ones for you.
So yeah. But in terms of the frequency, there's some really good videos on that stuff coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bunch.
Yeah, get in that build shop and show you guys what we do.
All right, I am going to say this now for the first time because I'll have to say it 3 more times. We're gonna take a few more questions.
Okay.
And then we're gonna sign off. And
We're
get ready to film some videos.
it's like a concert, isn't it? We come on for an encore and we just stay on for another
It's
hour.
not a concert I've ever been to. They're always too short. All right, let's take a couple doozies here. Okay, this is a good question. Someone with a very strong grip. He's got an 8.5 degree 913 D2. He's launching it too low. He's basically asking if M4 or G400 Max would be good options to get the launch up.
Yeah, I love it.
Either or?
Either or. Probably slightly favour G400 Max.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just even if you go, don't think as well just because you went 8.5 and you're hitting it too low that going up to 10.5 would be the answer. The head kind of differences. I think G400 9 degree, G400 Max 9 degree closed a little bit. Well, it depends on your flight. I mean, if normally the player's using a little bit of a lower loft to control a little bit of a spin issue.
Yep.
That can often be from fading a little bit, but I'm kind of presuming a little bit there. But I would say try G400 Max 9.
That's about as far back a center of gravity driver that I guess is out in the market.
Highest MOI driver out there. So to really maximize MOI, you're bringing the weight back to stabilize the head.
So we had someone sign in from Australia early this morning, not early in their morning, I actually don't know what time it is there, asking about choosing someone locally for fitting. What are the kind of things you look for? We did a couple just typing a few answers, but what do you put yourself somewhere, that maybe doesn't have the biggest fitting network, it doesn't have the big brands of fitting. What do you look for? Like, what are you trying to do in your due diligence to see what kind of an experience you're going to get?
What technology are they using?
Okay.
Making sure that they're using, good golf balls, all those sorts of variables.
It's got to be real balls. Yeah.
Make sure that they have good options and they're not just aligned with certain companies. Making sure that they're going to give you a really unbiased, kind of true recommendation for performance over any alignment to a specific brand. I think that's very important towards getting the right stuff. And obviously just making sure they're reputable. Maybe try and see if there's any Google reviews or anything like that, and people can kind of vouch for the the skill set of the fitters and make sure they know what they're up to.
That's true. Probably one of the best, I guess, testimonials you can get is if you happen to play with someone, they've got well-fitted clubs, they're playing well, they're hitting them well.
Excellent.
Where'd you get your clubs?
And then how was the after-sales care? You know, did they, you know, were they able to kind of check them again, make sure they're good? We say it to our customers all the time. You know, get 5-6 rounds, and if you see anything, if you see the exact same thing you saw in here, great, you know, and go and enjoy them. If you see anything slightly different, you know, please come back in and we'll have a little session together, because you know, we're getting one opportunity during the fit to see someone, and if, you know, they're not swinging quite their normal self that day, there might be some anomalies when they get out on the course. It doesn't necessarily mean that the clubs are the wrong head, wrong shaft. You know, 9 out of 10 times they're not, but you know, they might just need slightly tweaked.
Gotcha. Okay, you heard it here first. We're taking one more question, and it's going to be about something that you're talking about adding to the putter wall, Bettinardi putters. Is that something that's going to be for next year? Are you still looking at them?
Yeah, that will be part of the line. I believe the boys have marked that down as a new putter company for us. We're trying to kind of we'll actually do our putter matrix slightly differently for next year. You know, rather than just making it about, you know, and this is a lot of the putters we have right now are the kind of, you know, the popular ones, the you know, the spiders, that sort of thing. But really, we don't sell an awful lot of them. You know, there's other putters we sell. Oh, we don't sell an awful lot of spiders at all. You know, we sell a few, but you know, we do really well with even roll. We do our best selling range by far is our Bobby Grace range. By far, as you know,
that's the one I've been using for the last. Oh, I should have done an update on that. Made some putts with that baby on the
weekend. Did you really?
That's good.
What difference did you see?
My lag putting was really good.
Okay.
So I think the stability shaft for that.
A little speed control, little impact ratio.
Whatever it is, I'm sure you know the specs and reasons behind it. But yeah, my lag putting was good, and I made more. Oh, look at this guy. Thank you for retracting.
I want to know what the comment was.
Did you asked me if I lost a bet, and that's why I was wearing the shirt. I did not lose a bet.
Styling.
I like this shirt. Made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, sorry. The putter, Bobby Grace putter was really good.
Good.
Really good. The whole thing feels way heavier to me, because I guess, I don't know if the shaft weighs more, but the head certainly weighs more.
Yeah, shaft, it's interesting. You know, you kind of get the perception that the shaft weighs more, because there looks like there's a lot of mass there. It's actually only 125 grams, which is not crazy. So when I used to use an X7 pitching wedge shaft in my putter.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So, and that was quite a bit heavier than the stability putter, but yeah, it feels great. I mean, we literally can't keep them in stock right now.
That's awesome.
We just, you know, every person who tries to go, yeah, I'll, you know, try that.
It's kind of a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a piece of equipment that no one has really ever done properly.
It's a really overlooked
very much
technology,
overlooked.
Isn't it? The control of the putter face. I mean, why wouldn't you want to control your putter face? It's the one that we have the smallest margin in order to either make the putt or not.
Okay, so let's wrap it up, because we got lots to film. Do you want to take one more? Because I know you're going to. All right.
Let's see what we got.
This is officially the last one.
Okay. Let's see. There's so Todd. With adjustable hosels, is spining or SST puring something of the past? Not necessarily, Todd, but you're absolutely right. Once you have the shaft pured on that specific plane, and you rotate the hosel, obviously that compromises the you know, the kind of benefit of having that shaft pured or spined. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not done away with it. It's still as popular as ever. You know, we certainly are looking forward to adding that to our kind of offerings for 2019.
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be really neat. I can't wait to do the testing element of it, especially on gears where we can go, okay, here's a shaft pre-puring, Matt, test it, boom. Here's a shaft post-puring, Matt, test it. Let's see what deflection, let's see what kind of, you know, efficiency we can sort of maintain.
And some blind testing too. Like, we're gonna make sure we don't know which is which. Well, you'll know, but I won't know.
We can go back and forward, yeah. We'll kind of, you know, club A, club B, that's about all you'll know. And then, you know, we'll do some testing and show you guys whether there's something truly in it. I actually don't think the true benefit of SST puring comes from single club testing anyway. I think the true benefit of it is eliminating the potential of there being a rogue shaft in your set.
Okay, so within your entire set, making sure you don't have one club you just hit bad.
One wonky shaft that just doesn't kind of perform well. So
then.
from a line straightness standpoint. So we've seen it in the past that shafts, maybe an iron shaft that has a little warp in it. So in kind of the building, the weight sorting and the frequency match and stuff, it doesn't show up. But then you put it in a line straightness test where the lasers are actually mapping the shaft for straightness and consistency. You go, that one falls out of tolerance. Okay, that one gets sent back to the manufacturer. So I think for me, that's the true benefit of SST puring is to make a better matched set of clubs. That's what it's the
I think that makes more sense as well, because we always get the question like, will you test one against the other?
Right.
You may hit 20 shots with each and they may all be the same.
It's not, it honestly isn't going to show the true reflection of the benefit of the technology, in my opinion, the one-off shot. I think you have to do it across a full set.
Yeah, and I guess it's like, why are certain cars more expensive? They're built to just an insanely tight tolerance so that you never get little variances in performance. Your whole set will basically, there's the only variable is going to be you.
Yeah.
And there's some comfort in that, right?
Definitely, you can take ownership of the miss.
Yeah. And people don't like that though.
Yeah. I know.
I don't like it either.
Need all the excuses we can get, don't we?
I know. Okay. We're signing off.
Signing off, guys.
This was great. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thank you for so many of you joining in.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So we are going to be filming for the entire day. We got tons of new stuff coming out. I teased it a bit, but I think you're going to hit those 919 tours today.
Okay. Nice.
I think he's going to hit them. I wrote it down in my notebook.
Nice.
Yeah, we got lots of good stuff coming.
Yeah.
We're both off next week, but we're going to film enough so you won't notice it. I'm probably not going to wear this shirt for all these videos because it's only so much I can take in the comments. I may change.
You get a different wardrobe with you?
Yeah. Well, what if we film 8 videos?
That's very true. Very true. You'll see me in the same one in every one.
They like that shirt. Little TXG logo
little
there.
TXG logo. I'm over on this side. Look at that.
You'll see that for
the new fall line of Galvin Green.
Check it out in your local shops.
Big shout out to Jonathan Wong for that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate you joining us this morning. This has been great. Means a lot when so many of you tune in live and ask your questions. One of our favourite formats, to be honest. I could quite happily sit here until about lunchtime and answer all your questions.
Try to do them a bit more often. We're going to get in the habit a bit more. I know we keep saying that, but this time we mean it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Excellent. So loads of good videos coming. I think there's going to be a lot of good content coming over the next little while. The Golf WRX stuff, we're kind of building on top of our kind of relationship with those guys. So you can see some of the videos over there. Bandit, you missed it. Were you working? You could have been working. You must have been on the course.
Bandit, rewind. Use the rewind.
No, we're about to upload it anyway. You can get the kettle on and
that's true, you can.
And hunker down for an hour or so.
Wait half an hour and it'll replay for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks guys, see you soon.